name is Srinivas Govada. I am working as assistant professor in IARE college. Today we will talk about indexes in SQL Server. Okay. What are indexes? Indexes are special lookup tables that the database search engine can use to speed up the data retrieval. Simply saying, an index is a pointer to a data in a table. An index in a database is similar to an index at the back of the book. The database index is a data structure that provides quick lookup of the data in a column or columns of a table. It enhances the speed of operation accessing data from the database table at the cost of additional writes and memory to maintain an index data structure. In short, an index is basically used for fast data retrieval from database. Okay. Index is nothing but like in the book we have index. If you want to search a topic directly, you can see the page number go over there. Similarly, SQL also use the same concept. Okay, index is basically used for faster data retrieval from the database. An index is an additional data structure defined on tables used for faster search operations by auto sorting the data at the database file level. The indexes requires additional space for storing this pre-sorted data. Case 1. The index are auto-created when we define primary keys and unique keys on a table. See, when the indexes are, when you create a primary key or a unique key, default a cluster index is created. That is a primary key constraint or a unique key constraint. Case 2. For columns on which there is no primary key or unique key, you can define indexes. Purpose: faster search operations. For example, where conditions. Suppose you use where condition for a column called age. Suppose that age is not having unique constraint, nor having a primary key. Now you can create on a unique a non-clustered index on the age column, as frequently you'll be using the age of the student to for example, you want to list all students whose age is greater than 20 years. So, as you're using age quite frequently, you can create age index. So your database will sort the data as per the age pre-sorted index. Okay, that is the case 2. Now, let us see the basic types of indexes. We have two types of basic. One is clustered index, the non-clustered index. This index controls, what is the cluster index? This index controls the actual table. Means the index data is clustered or grouped with the table. There can be only one clustered index per table. Whenever we define a primary key, one clustered index is auto-created. In this case, we cannot create additional index on a table. There can be only one clustered index on a table as there can be more than one clustered index. Okay. So, whenever we create a primary key, automatically your clustered index will be created and the data will be sorted according to your primary key. Now, we will see a non-clustered index is the index references on a direct query to the database table. There can be up to 999 non-clustered indexes per table. Whenever we define a unique key, a non-clustered is auto-created. We can also define n number of non-clustered indexes. The maximum it is 999. The syntax is create clustered or non-clustered index name on table name, column name, ascending or by default it is ascending. Create clustered index on table EMP, column EMP ID. Okay, same thing. Create non-clustered index on as IDX age on employee, column name is age, descending. The other types of indexes can be created for different purposes. One is unique and non-unique index. Unique index are indexes that help maintain data integrity by ensuring that no two rows of the table in the table have identical key values. Unique index are will help in data integrity by ensuring that no two rows of a data in a table have two same value. Once the unique index is defined for table, the uniqueness is forced whenever keys are added or changed with the indexes. Whereas non-unique index are for using for searching operations. On the other hand, are not to use. They are not to use to enforce constraints on the tables with the associated, but they are used to improve the query performance by maintaining a sort order of the data. Frequently, suppose you are searching your data based upon age. So in the database, on the age, on the age column, your data is sorted, and whenever you ask for a where condition for age greater than 20, immediately it goes to this point and it returns the data in this pre-sorted order. Okay. Now, how to we'll see the syntaxes to create index. Create index name on table name. For example, create index F1 index on student's primary first name. You're creating a index on first name. The student prime is a table name. First name is a column name. The name of the index is F1 index. You can also create an index more than one column. Alter table name, add constraint. You're creating a constraint called emp underscore id2 having two columns. One is emp first name, emp salary. This is the syntax to create an composite index. This is a single column. Now we will see the drop index. The index can be dropped by using SQL command. The care should be taken when dropping an index performance may be slowed or improved. The basic syntax is drop index name. Now here drop index, the student's prime dot index, the F1 index. This is a table name. Okay, this is the syntax to drop a index. Now we will see the difference between the clustered and non-clustered. Clustered indexes are indexes whose order of the rows in the database correspond to the rows of the index. The clustered index are indexes whose order of the rows in the database corresponding to the order of the rows in the index. That is why only one clustered index can exist on the given table, whereas multiple non-clustered index can exist on the table. The difference between clustered and non-clustered index is that the database manager attempts to keep the data in the database in the same order as the corresponding keys appear in the clustered index. Clustered index will improve the performance of most query operations because they provide linear access path to the data stored in the database. Now, let us see the difference between clustered and non-clustered index. Clustered index modifies the way the records are stored in the database based on the indexed column. Non-clustered index creates a separate entity with the database which references the original table. Clustered index is used for easy, speedy retrieval of data from the database, whereas fetching records from the non-clustered index is relatively slower. In SQL, a table can have a single clustered index, whereas it can have multiple non-clustered index of 399. For example, this is example of see we have created one first name index non-unique, non-clustered. Okay, PK underscore student. This is the clustered index. Or automatically, when a primary key is created, a cluster index is created. Now there is one more unique constraint, but it is non-clustered. It is UIFFN. Okay, you have seen the how we can see the indexes on a table object manager. Thank you. Okay, we will see the disadvantage of an index. An index helps you to speed up the select and where clauses, but it slows down the data input with the update and insert statements. An index is intended to enhance database performance, but it should be avoided sometimes when the data size is small, when the data have frequent large updates or insert operations. Indexes should not be used on columns that contains high number of null value columns that are frequently manipulated and should not be indexed. And see, with all these three conditions, you will have a slower performance. Thank you. This completes the indexes.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.